We sourced 4 geese, all reared in different environments and on different feeds, in order to find my perfect bird. And you get that, like the fat from a grain-fed bird. There's something fruity almost there. Mm-hmm. For me, it's between these two. One of the things that could be really exciting is if we feed the goose on a particular food, can that be tasted in the end result? For me, the tastiest bird came from Essex and the farm of Simon Hughes, so that's where I headed. Simon's been rearing birds on a diet of wheat and grass for years, and has his own unique way of calling the birds to dinner.
Hey, the geese! Yep. Hey!
It works. Look at that. So they get fed now. You've got the feed tubs here. What's in there?
That'll just be wheat in those.
Are they feeding off the land here?
Yeah, I mean, they're eating the grass. They eat a lot of stones and things out of the ground. You can see that it's all full of holes.
So I'm just looking at them eating that trailer. Oh yes, I'll have a nice bit of undercarriage. Yeah. I'd established that geese would eat almost anything, which is perfect for my plan. The way meat tastes can be affected by the way in which the animal is fed. I had an idea. I was going to feed my geese the essence of Douglas Fir Pine, which I hoped would make them taste a little bit like Christmas tree.
Yeah, those ones.
They're gathering around there, aren't they?
That's the action whenever they eat new food.
Oh, I think we're on to a winner there.
Yeah. A success.
I think it's a definite success,
yeah.
Huh? I'd found that the geese would eat the pine essence, which meant that I could hopefully control the way they tasted. The next vital factor was catching myself a goose. So what's the technique for picking these up then? I will get myself, I will get me a goose. Oh, we're over here. Got it. So we're going to house them somewhere else, in here. So we've made a little grotto. Animals that live in a peaceful and stress-free environment really do taste better. For the next 2 months, I wanted my geese to have the best life they could, so I built them their own special Christmas home. Yeah. Oh no!
Who built that fence?
Who built that grotto? How is that going to keep a goose in?
Alright, goose, alright, calm down.
After a bit of a struggle, I finally got my geese into their new home.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening, a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
With the geese happy, I was off to make them some special feed that I hope would make them taste really Christmassy.
So the idea is we've actually got the poultry feed, the goose feed. It's 1.6 kilos. And we want to try and get it mixed and stuck to these pine flexaromes, so the flavour Christmas tree. Good old-fashioned stuffing, 170. And some of this, which is freeze-dried apple. Tell you what, it's got some lucky geese here. We need to eat this, because if it's good enough for us, it's good enough for a goose. If it's not good enough for us, I ain't giving it to a goose.
To the feed ingredients, I also added a syrup, which when heated would hold it all together and make the first ever 3 Michelin starred goose feed.
It's not too bad, is it?
Very nice.
You get the pine, the apple comes through, sage and onion definitely comes through, and then last in the background you get the sort of the actual wheaty note from the feed.
If my geese eat that mixture, they should then taste of apple and pine. The one thing I hadn't realised was just how much they'd actually eat. Almost 20 bags of feed. To make all that, we needed to be working on a bigger scale.
So here it is, our Christmas goose, fattened on a mixture of wheat and Christmas tree.
The idea is to use every part of the goose in the meal. Nothing will go to waste. The legs I take off to cook in a traditional way, which I'll come to later. Then the skin is removed, which I roast separately to get an amazing crispness. Then the breasts. I'll vacuum pack them in goose fat and cook them in a 56-degree water bath, which maintains all the moisture and flavour in the meat. Now, back to the goose legs. This recipe is called powdered goose and was popular in the 17th century. I've cooked the goose legs very gently in goose fat for 50 hours at 65 degrees, and then smoked them for 20 minutes over cherry chips, giving it a delicate smoky flavour. These will then be shredded and added to the velouté that I'm going to serve with the goose. Now to my chestnut velouté. I've brushed a bowl with hazelnut butter and coated it with ground hazelnuts.
And here I'm piping in some pureed potatoes to the bottom of the bowl. And on top of that, I'm going to add some of the powdered goose. And this is the confit goose legs that we smoked over cherry chips. And on top of that, I'm going to add some pickled chestnuts and some white truffle.
Then finally, the chestnut velouté, a wonderfully rich mix made with chestnuts, butter and the stock from the goose.
Top it, just put the cover on with some chestnuts on. That's missing the key thing. This is based on chestnuts roasting on open fire, so I need chestnuts roasted on open fire.
I take a glass cloche and place it over some roasting chestnuts, into which the smoke then rises.
Now the idea with this is the guests, when they first take the soup, they pull the jar off and turn it upside down. Then they'll get the full impact of the smell of chestnuts roasting on an open fire. So now to finish my goose main course. First off, in here I've got some fresh black pudding that's cooked at a lower temperature for a long time, continually mixing. It is wonderful, rich, velvety chocolate texture.
I then carve the breasts into thick pieces, which I lightly glaze with a sauce made from wine, the goose bones and lots of spices. I then add it to a mix made with sage and goose cracker that we've made in a similar way to prawn crackers. Then I add some grelotte onions. Next, some small turnips cooked in a butter and water mixture.
Here is goose skin that we've roasted and lacquered.
Now some salt that I flavoured with the same pine that I fed to the geese. Some sauce, a few drops of sage oil to mirror the stuffing we fed to the geese, then some pickling brine, and finally the goose cracker.
And there's my perfect Christmas goose.